This is the Uptick Network Stock Day Podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Penny stock news and interviews from the microcap world. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a very exciting guest with us. His name is Lloyd Spencer. Not only is he the chairman, but he's also the CEO of COWI, Inc. They trade on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol COWI. Lloyd, thank you and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Give me a little bit of background on yourself and a little bit of background on your company, and then later on I want to get into some Q&A.
Sure. Well, a little bit on COWI. So we started COWI in about 2004 with the idea of developing mobile robotics hardware and software from the get-go. And we did a fair amount of that. My background was previously over at Microsoft, and I was a solutions unit manager there. And I did a lot of work in the embedded systems area. So my understanding of where the embedded systems market might go and where robotics and other technologies like Internet of Things now is what people refer to them as, it was instrumental in my understanding where that market was going. And so COWI, from day one, we did quite a bit of work with Microsoft, and we did a lot of work in the area of R&D engineering services and software development design, really from the inception.
You know, recently I looked over some of your financials, and I tell you what, I am completely impressed by the growth of your company. You know, COWI revenues doubled twice during the last 2 years. You know, tell my audience a little bit, how did you drive the growth, and what kind of growth are we going to be looking at 2016 and 2017?
Well, we were certainly blessed with the growth that we saw in 2014 and 15. We did that by focusing on our core competencies, the R&D engineering services, for example, some of the IT, I'll call it agile IT services, the business process workflow by focusing on back-end financial services for our clients, software development, design, and architecture, and even some of the marketing coordination, I'll call it the marketing specialist services. We focused on that very much so in 2014 and the same in 2015. We also saw a little bit of growth out of the mobile robotics in the Internet of Things area. So the Internet of Things would be like small embedded systems that can gather data and then store that data up into a cloud, for example, a cloud database. And we did a little bit of work in that in 2015, and that's where we saw some of that growth. In 2016, this year, I don't know if we're going to see quite the doubling. That's what our hope is. That's what we're aiming for. We're going to be looking at how we can build upon that success in the R&D engineering services. Some people on Twitter have seen that we've been working a little bit in the augmented reality area as it relates to Microsoft HoloLens. So we'll be doing some more of that. And the business process workflow, we'll see some competent growth there. I think it's going to be in the marketing specialist services to help market our clients' products and services. And this year, I'm really hoping that we're going to see our first Internet of Things products. And we have an interesting idea that is turning into a solution for the mobile robotics area. It's a little early to talk about it, but that's where I think we're going to see some of that growth this year.
Lloyd, if you would you break down a little bit what exactly is R&D engineering service? When I think of R&D, I think of research and development.
So R&D engineering services is a series of consulting services that we offer to our clients. So, for example, their R&D team need the support, like, for example, a very agile IT desktop and server team, for example. Also, when it comes to supporting them with hardware technicians, we have people in that area that will support that development team as well. So this is a team of people who are capable both on hardware and software, and even the I'll call it the marketing support teams around that for developing the videos for their solutions as well as even brand ambassadorship kind of solution, brand ambassador kind of services. So it's really providing a series of services that help our clients' R&D team succeed.
Very well. Can you tell us who are some of your big clients out there?
Well, certainly, as you've seen, Microsoft's one of our biggest ones. The others we don't really talk about very much, but in the past we've worked with customers like Honda, for example. So it'd be customers like that where they have research and development groups that need some specialized services. For example, in the past it was especially in the robotics area, and now we have people that have hardware and software capabilities that will help them deliver their products.
My guest today is Lloyd Spencer. He is the CEO and chairman of forCoroWare, symbol COWI, trading on the OTC Pink Sheet. I also read a couple of weeks ago that you guys announced a plan to increase the company's authorized common shares to help extinguish the legacy convertible debt. Can you expand on that a little bit?
You bet. So as we've been looking as to how we can attract long-term investment, we want to fund initiatives like in the mobile robotics area, in the Internet of Things, and augmented reality. As we held our discussions with these potential investors, one of the key messages was that we must first extinguish our legacy convertible debt. And there are a number of ways to do that. We have used some forbearance agreements to pay down some of these notes. Refinancing the convertible debt is another way to do this with some investment individuals or investment banks and investors, private individuals. But also the employing debt to equity conversions in a manner that's going to protect the interests of the current shareholders as best possible. And the one thing we wanted to make sure is that we did not use any reverse split this year to make additional shares available. So we decided to focus on increasing the authorized shares in the company. And that way we could use these debt to equity conversions for some of the existing convertible notes, but also use equity line of credit facilities with more favorable conversion terms, equity conversion terms. So that's the principal rationale. And at that point, as the legacy debt, much of that from 2006, is addressed, then new investors can come in with with confidence that they can really make a difference with their capital.
Lloyd, you talked earlier in the show about your company addressing and being an innovator of mobile robotics technology and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about Internet of Things and the augmented reality. What is that exactly?
Sure. So with mobile robotics, as I mentioned earlier, these are very small, focused, embedded systems with small processors, and they use battery power very frugally. And these all use, whether it's going to be something with wheels or with flippers in the water, or whether it's going to be an aerial drone, these are all small embedded systems that are what people call mobile robots. Internet of Things is similar in that it is a small platform, a small computing platform that is gathering data. It can be gathering information about temperature, humidity, environmental data. It could also be looking at traffic flow of people walking by. It can be looking even at counting number of cars going by. And you're gathering data, and then you're uploading that data into a database. And that's what people refer to as an example of Internet of Things. And we've done a little bit of work in that area for a couple of clients. And so we have that knowledge about how to develop these hardware platforms. And what we're looking at this year is the development of a couple solutions in that area. What's even more interesting, though, is that once you've gathered the data, the question is, how do you visualize that? And even in 2012 and 13 and 14, we've done a little bit of work with visualizing data with one of our clients. Now with some new technology areas like augmented reality, now what you can do is you can visualize that data. So say, for example, you're gathering environmental data about humidity, temperature on a farm, or even over a wide area across the state. And you want to understand what are the climatological changes that are happening, and what should you be paying attention to. So to visualize that, you can use augmented reality to have a three-dimensional view. So say you have a picture of a farm, and now you can see bar graphs across the your farm, or even across a state or a region. And augmented reality lets you see that data in 3 dimensions as you're looking at it. Most people think of virtual reality where it's a complete view that is not related to the environment around you, like, for example, standing in a room. What augmented reality does is overlays that data on top of it, so you can see the data, you can see the bar graphs, you can see objects that are in 3 dimensions, but it's overlaid on top of your existing environment. So what we see is gathering the data using either mobile robot platforms or using small Internet of Things devices, and all of these depend on wireless technologies that we have a good knowledge of, and then using visualization tools like augmented reality to bring that data alive.
My guest today is Lloyd Spencer. He is the CEO of COWI. They trade on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol COWI. Their market cap is only a little bit about 1.1 million. Their stock price is 0001, and they have real revenues of over $5 million in 2015. A real company that I may say, and if I may say, this is one man's opinion, but very undervalued. In closing here, Lloyd, is there anything that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about that you would like to get out to the listeners?
Well, I think that one thing I'd like to certainly say is that we've had phenomenally good growth during the past 2 years. I think we will see some good growth this year and in the following year as well. And with the new products and solutions coming out with an expanded customer base taking these capable services that we have, in like an R&D engineering services, and even hardware and software engineering, for example, content management, all the marketing coordination services that we have, we're going to bring those to other clients, and we're going to be expanding that business this year and next. So we look forward to a good year, and in fact, we look forward to be back on your show to give you another update.
Lloyd Spencer has been our guest today. His company trades on the OTC pink sheets under the ticker symbol COWI. Lloyd, thank you for coming on the show. We're going to check back with you in a couple of months. Until then, I hope things go well for you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, and I look forward to being back.